Good morning, everybody, and welcome to our next lesson. This week, I'm going to be doing some reading challenges with you. So let's share the screen and have a look at what we're going to be covering this week. So the focus today is going to be on predictions. So we're going to be reading a story, and then I will stop halfway through and you're going to be thinking about what might happen next in the story. So let's have a look at everything that we're going to be covering today. So session one, how do brilliant readers predict what will happen next? We're going to have a quick warm up with some red words. Then we're going to start the text, which is the Stormwell in Winter. And that follows on, that's a sequel from Stormwell, which you have recently read. We're going to predict what will happen next in the middle of the story. And then we will finish off the text so you can find out what actually does happen next. So as always, you're going to need a pencil and some paper and your super brain. So if you need to pause the screen to go and get those bits, please do now. Okay. On we go. So let's have a look at some of these year 2 common exception words here, some red words that we can't always sound out the whole of the word. So I'm going to say a word and I want you to find it and then point to it on your screen. Okay, so the first word is people. Did you find it? Yeah, well done. It's in the right-hand column over here, people. Next word is something we always like you to look back through on your work to see if you can improve it. Can you find the word improve? Well done. It's in one of the middle columns here, the third column, improve. Well done. And if you need to pause the video to find some of these, you can do. Okay, next word. Could you find the word climb? Climb. Pause the video if you need to. Here's the word climb over on the left-hand side here. Climb with a silent B at the end. Okay, next word. Could you find the word? Mr. Intel likes to eat some of these with some chips on a plate. Could you find the word steak? Steak. Pause the video if you need to. Here's steak in the second column here. There's the word steak. Okay, I'm going to give some clues now, and then I want you to see if you can work out the clue and then find the word. So the first clue is some people celebrate this time of year in December, and it's an event that people celebrate. Where's that word? What is the word? Pause the video if you need to. And the word is Christmas. Okay, and it's right down in the bottom corner here, Christmas. Okay, next one. Oh, let's have a think. This is another word for dad or daddy. Another word for dad or daddy. Pause the video if you need to. Did you get it? The answer is father, up here at the top, on the top row, father. Okay, next word. Oh, could you think of an adjective to describe somebody in your family? It may be a sister or a brother or mummy, maybe. An adjective to describe somebody in your family. Pause the video, have a think. Okay, now, hoping that there was maybe a couple of different adjectives here. To pretty and beautiful could have been those two adjectives you could have used. And if you've got two adjectives, what do you put in the middle of those? A comma. Well done if you had that one. Okay, next challenge. Could you find me a conjunction? So a word that might link two sentences together, a conjunction. Pause the video if you need to have a think. Well done if you said the word because. Give yourself a huge pat on the back. Okay, well done. Hopefully that's warmed our brains up. We're going to move on with the lesson. So we are looking at this book here, which is an interesting front cover. So some questions to think about. What is the title? Who is the author? Have you seen these characters before? Can you remember the boy's name? Right, pause the video if you need to have a think about those questions. Okay, so let's have a think about the title first of all, and it is, well done if you got it, it's The Stormwell in Winter. So this is the sequel to the Stormwell, so we've got the words added on the end there, in winter, so a little clue about the time of year. And the author is the same person, it's Benji Davis. Have you seen these characters before? I think we have in the last story, haven't we? So there's the boy that we remember, and there's the whale, the storm whale. Can you remember the boy's name? Well done if you said Noi. Well done. Okay, so let's have a look at the storm whale in winter. Noi lived with his dad and 6 cats by the sea. Last summer, Noi rescued a little whale after a storm washed it ashore. He and his dad took it back to sea, where it belonged. Can you remember that from last week? But Noi could not forget his friend. There he is looking out to sea, while his dad's still busy mending a net. Noi's thinking, where's his friend gone? Now and then he thought he caught a glimpse of the whale, its tail tipping the waves in the distance. Well, there he's looking, thinks it might be, but it was always something else. That looks like it's a ship's anchor or something. Winter was setting in, and all around the island, the sea slowly filled with ice. Noi's dad took one last trip in his fishing boat. Looks like he was going to stop for the winter then. But when darkness fell that evening, his dad was still not home, and Noi began to worry. Noi watched and waited and watched. Suddenly he saw something out at sea. It was his dad. It had to be. He counted all 6 cats safe inside and dashed down to the shore. Also, he wanted to make sure all the cats were in. Then he put his coat on. He wanted to go and check that it was his dad. Noi dragged his boat to the water's edge, but the sea was frozen hard. I must be careful, he thought, stepping out on the thick ice. Well, why must he be careful? What could have happened there? What might happen? Ice can be dangerous to walk on. You shouldn't walk on ice, really, should you? The further Noi went, the harder the snow fell, until everywhere looked the same. Noi was lost. It sounds like he's in a bit of a blizzard. Then up ahead, he saw a grey shape flickering in the lamplight. Right, so we're just going to pause there because we are thinking about predicting what will happen next. So let's think about what a prediction is. So it's making a good guess, thinking hard about what might happen based on what we've just read, using information from the text. So thinking about the titles. So title is Stormwell in Winter. So the headings, any pictures, or we've seen a grey shape further ahead in the picture. And your own personal experiences, so things that you have or other books that you may have read that might help you and think about what's happening next. So I wonder what the grey shape could be. What could that be up ahead? Is Noi's dad there? Let's remember the title of the book again. It's Stormwell in Winter. So really, the Stormwell's probably going to come into this story at some point. So will the Stormwell help in any way? Just want you to think about those things. And here are some challenges for you to look at. So one chilly challenge. Can you tell an adult what you think will happen next? Perhaps they could write down your prediction for you. So start off with, I predict. So think about that grey shape that he's heading towards. What do you think is going to happen next? The 2 chili challenge, write down in your book what you think will happen next and why do you think this? So when we're saying why we think about something, we often use the conjunction because. So I predict that the grey shape will be because, or I predict that Noi's dad will be saved because. Okay. And the 3 chili challenge, write down in your book what you think will happen next, but explain why you think this based on what you've read or seen so far, or your own story knowledge that you may have seen in other stories. So you might start off your text with, in the text it says, or in stories I have read, or I know that, and you're going to predict what happens next. If you need to go back to any of these chili screens to pause the video, please do. But could you pause the video and have a go at your task now? What do you think is going to happen next in this story? Pause the video. Good luck. Okay, what kind of predictions did you come up with? But they're amazing. Please make sure you take a picture of those and send them to Tapestry, to your teachers. Let's find out what happens next. So I'm just going to go back over that first page, or the last page, sorry, that we just read. The further Noi went, the harder the snow fell until everywhere looked the same. Noi was lost. Then up ahead, he saw a grey shape flickering in the lamplight. It was his dad's boat stuck in the ice. Noi quickly clambered aboard. Dad? Noi called, going down the steps, holding the light. But his voice echoed. The boat was empty. Noi didn't know what to do. As he curled up tight, he imagined the deep sea swirling beneath him, and he began to feel afraid. He was quite scared. Then, through the darkness, the boat went bump. What could that be? It looks like the whales. It was the Stormwell. The whole family had come to help Noi. The whales pushed their noses into the cold night. What are they doing? They sang through puffs of steam and spray as the ice cracked and crunched. Somehow they knew where to go. Where are they going? The little boat thumped hard against the rocks. Dad, cried Noi. Noi, what are you doing here? Said his dad. I just had to find you, said Noi. Look, there's the boat that's been pushed. Noi running up to his dad. It looks like he's with someone else. What's that there? It looks like a lighthouse. Ooh. As the winter turned slowly to spring, they often spoke of that cold, icy night. The night that fishermen had rescued Dad, and the Stormwell had rescued Noi. And Noi would smile. Oh, so it looks like fishermen had rescued Dad, who must have got in trouble out in the cold blizzard. And the Stormwells were the ones that rescued Noi, and somehow they knew where Noi's dad was, and they helped him get there. Noi would smile because it was the night that his friend came back. That's the last picture there of him just saying hello again to his friend who helped him. It looks like there's the lighthouse in the background where Dad was saved by the fisherman, and he must have been taken there. Okay, well, I hope you got on well with your predictions. You might not have predicted that, but that's absolutely fine, because with predictions, they're not always going to be exactly what happens. You're just making a prediction on what you think might have happened, looking at how you thought the story was going, and that's absolutely fine. Okay, well done, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the Stormwell in winter. Next lesson, we're going to be looking at comparing these two stories. So we're going to be looking at what might be the same and what's different. So we'll be comparing the Stormwell and the Stormwell in winter. So looking at what's the same and what's different. So I've just got two pictures there of an apple and an orange, saying, well, we're both fruit. So that's them saying one thing that's the same about them. What might be different about those two? One could be the color. So the apple's red and the orange is orange. Okay, so we're going to be comparing the Stormwell and the Stormwell in winter with similarities and differences. Look forward to catching you next time. Good effort today. You've been brilliant readers, and I hope to catch you next time. So bye-bye.